So you just bought a new home, new construction, built a new home. What are you going to forget to do in the first year that you need to do? That's what we're going to talk about today on Just My Opinion. This is Jessica Duncan's Just My Opinion, and I'm Jessica. There's no handbook to owning a home. That's why I go beyond the transaction to share my opinion, tips, and insights for adulting made simple. All right, so you just bought new construction. Whether you bought a new construction home, you custom built your own new construction home, what do you do now? There are some things that are really important to do in the first year, and today we're going to talk about all those. We're going to go over the steps that you need to make sure you do that most people forget to do. So step number one, it sounds crazy, but you know that AC filter that pulls the intake into your HVAC system that most people change once a quarter? You're told every quarter to change it. New construction, you really want to change that every single month for at least the first 6 months. Here's why. During that new construction process, there was a lot of sheetrock dust. There was a lot of dust created in your home, whether it was through cutting wood, installing cabinets, installing sheetrock, but there is a lot of fine dust floating through your HVAC system. By changing that AC filter every month for the first 6 months, you're really going to help clean the airways in your home and make sure that your AC system lasts longer. You're trying to get all of that sheetrock dust that happened during construction out of the air and out of your duct system, so it's not getting captured in your HVAC and lagging it down. So change that AC filter every single month for the first 6 months. And after 2 weeks, if you check it and it's still really full, go ahead and change it. It's not going to hurt anything. It's really just going to improve the longevity of your HVAC system. Another thing a lot of people forget to do when they first buy a home in that first year and going forward, you always want to exercise the windows. Sounds crazy, right? I got to exercise my windows? What do you mean? Well, what I'm talking about is opening and closing your windows. That's all you have to do. Here in Florida, there's not many days that we have the windows open because we are either hot or we're cold. We get this short little spell in the spring and this short little spell in the fall that we actually get to open the windows that maybe last for a week, right? A lot of people don't open their windows throughout the year. So not only in the first year of homeownership, but throughout your whole lifespan of owning a home, you want to make sure you exercise those windows. I recommend at least once a quarter, go open and close every single window in your house. If not, what's going to happen is whenever you go to sell, you're going to have a home inspection. They're going to open and close every single window, and the balances are going to break, and they're not going to work as well, and they're going to come back and say, hey, your windows need repair. Well, I never open or close them. Exactly. That's why. So make sure you go through the house and open and close every window. I really like on new construction, at least once a quarter, if not more often, but going forward, even after that, you want to do it at least once a quarter. Just simple little thing. We need exercise, so does your home. So probably one of the most important things you can do, especially in Florida, when you buy new construction or build a new construction home or just buy a new home, is file for your homestead exemption. So if this is your primary residence, you want to make sure you file for your homestead exemption. This gives you so many benefits that you don't have on investment properties and things like that. So first of all, it's going to give you a tax reduction. So your property taxes, you are going to save money on those property taxes just by saying, hey, it's my homestead. It's my primary residence. The government's going to give you a tax break, your local county government. So make sure you file for your homestead exemption. And depending on the price range, it's going to depend on how much of an exemption you get. There are more benefits to filing for that homestead exemption than just the tax benefits. There is also some financial benefits in the event of hardship, in the event of medical bills, things like that. Also in the event of the passing of your spouse, there's some benefits, as well as if you're just a single person or your spouse has already died, there's also some benefits that the homestead allows in Florida. So make sure you file for that homestead and you're getting all of those benefits that you're entitled to as that being your primary residence. There's a couple of minor things you need to do before filing for your homestead. You need to change your driver's license. You need to change your car tags. If you already have the yellow star, though, in Florida, you can do it all online almost. So if you got the yellow star, you're already a true Floridian. You can get online and do a lot of that. You can change your driver's license, change your tag address, and then file for homestead exemption. So if you can do it online, why would you not do it? Deadline's always March the 1st, so you had to have bought the previous year. by January 31st, and then you have until March the 1st because we pay taxes in the rear here and they don't actually come out until November. So make sure you file for homestead exemption, whether you bought new construction or a resale. Another thing you need to think about doing if you just bought a new construction house is sealing the granite. So if you have granite countertops or if you have quartz or calcite or whatever type of solid surface countertops you have, there are different maintenance that you need to do. So you want to make sure you're researching that, know what type of countertops you have, and know what type of maintenance you need to do, whether it's every 6 months or once a year, or some require none. But you want to make sure that you do that research and you're doing that in the first year and then continue it. Traditional granite, normally they're going to want you to do another seal about 6 months in. But research it, do a little bit of due diligence, even talk to the people who installed the countertops in your new home and ask what they recommend. But you want to make sure and seal those. Otherwise, you could end up with that red wine stain. That's hard to get out. But if it does get there, DM me. I'll send you some tips on how to get it out. So you bought a brand new home. Another thing you need to think about is the maintenance schedule. So look at your house and create a quarterly maintenance schedule for every quarter of the year that you need to do that's very specific to your house. You can go online and Google them, but you want to make sure that it's relative to your area and you want to make sure that it fits your house. So what type of, as we just talked about, stone do you have in your house on your countertops? What do you need to do there? One of the things a lot of people forget here in Florida is about covering those water spigots for the winter because we do get cold snaps. Those pipes will bust. So create that annual maintenance plan that you're going to do every year, specifically once a quarter, to keep and maintain that investment that you just made. That is something a lot of people forget about. Most of your appliances, your HVAC, things like that, in their manual, they will tell you maintenance you need to do, just like that car manual that no one reads that's 200 pages or thicker long, maybe 2,000. You want to look through those manuals, see what maintenance you need to do, and make sure you're creating that schedule. When are you going to do it? How often are you going to do it? Because that's going to maintain your home's value. So the next thing you want to do with buying that new home is make sure you register all your appliances. So all of your appliances probably came with a 1-year warranty. All builders have to give you a 1-year warranty in Florida. But those appliances like your stove, your microwave, your dishwasher, your HVAC system, those all normally have a registration card in there. And if you register those appliances, you will get extended warranties. Now, how long that extended warranty is, and this is not one you have to buy. It's normally free. You just register that appliance and you're going to get a free extended warranty. So it depends on the appliance, how long it is. Some will give you an additional 3 years. A lot of the HVAC systems will give you an additional 5 to 10 years. That's a big deal to have your AC have another 5 or 10-year warranty just because you filled out a card. Fill out the card. That's all you have to do. So make sure on all of those appliances, you fill out your registration card. And if you bought a new washer or dryer, do the same thing. Many of those are going to give you extended warranties for free, and you want to take advantage of that. So we live in Florida. We have hurricanes. You just bought a new house. You need to put your hurricane shutters up. I know it sounds crazy. We don't even have a hurricane coming, and I'm telling you to put your shutters up. But that is absolutely what you need to do. Within that first year, you need to make sure that those shutters fit on properly. You need to make sure there's no issues there. If there are issues, you want to reach out to the builder and make sure those get fixed immediately. Because the last thing you want is we got a hurricane coming. It's in the Gulf. It's going to be here in 2 days. And all of a sudden your hurricane shutters don't fit. You don't know how to put them on. You're freaking out. You don't want that. So first year in the house, go ahead, practice putting those shutters on. Make sure every window fits good. You have all the attachments that you need and you're ready to go in the case of a hurricane. So I actually had this happen. I had customers buy a new home, and then about a year later, year and a half, they called me and there was a hurricane coming. They're trying to put up their shutters and they realized they are missing several hurricane fabrics, and also several of their studs were not in the right places. That's a big deal when you got a hurricane coming. It's in the Gulf. It's going to be here in 2 days. What are you going to do? You don't have time to do anything, right? So make sure you do that ahead of time. We don't want you to be in that situation like those customers were. So the next thing you want to do is find your emergency shutoff valve for your water. So every house has an emergency shutoff valve for the water. It can be out by the street. Sometimes it's in the garage. Sometimes there's different places on every house, but there is somewhere in that house an emergency shutoff valve for your water. You want to find that, locate it, and know how to use it. Make sure you know, your spouse knows. Wouldn't hurt to have a kid know, but everyone in the house needs to know, because imagine all of a sudden your hot water heater burst, or you have water spewing out of the wall for whatever reason. Hopefully that never happens. But if it does, and you're panicking, trying to figure out, how do I shut the water off? You want to know where that emergency shutoff valve is, so you can go immediately shut all the water off that is coming to the house to try and minimize the damage that overspilling of water is going to have on your property. And on the shutoff valve, I will say, if you have gas in your home, make sure you know where the gas valve is. So you have an emergency gas shutoff as well in the event of a fire. Let's say you have several gas appliances, stove, fireplace, hot water heater, tankless hot water heater, things like that in your house. And all of a sudden you have a fire on your gas stove. You want to know where that emergency gas shutoff valve is before it continues to burn and create even more damage. So if you do have gas in your house, make sure you know where that emergency shutoff valve is as well. So this next one is definitely a tip that I think many people don't follow. They forget, but you just bought this new construction house and the yard looked great. The builder was making sure to water it all the time, and you don't have sprinkler systems, and you moved in and you got busy decorating the inside, and now your yard is completely dead. So you want to make sure you take care of that yard. Make sure you are watering your yard regularly. And this Florida heat, if we have those spans without any rain, it is going to kill all that grass, and you don't want to have to resod the whole yard. So just start off from the beginning, create your watering schedule. Make sure if you don't have sprinklers, you are putting something out to water your yard on a regular basis. I highly recommend getting a sprinkler system and installing it with a submersible pump. That way it's not even tied to your water bill. You can actually have a pump that you water your yard for free, basically. It's just the electrical cost of the pump that is running to pump up the water. But that's a great easy improvement that you can do on the house that's going to save you money in the long run. So make sure you're taking care of that yard, taking care of that grass. If you have, most builders don't do crazy plants and spend a lot of money there, but what is there is there. So make sure you're trimming it, you're watering it, and staying on top of that to keep that home's value. So the next tip you want to do sometime in the next year. So not necessarily right away when you move in the house, but this is towards the end of the year. You definitely want to do this. And I recommend you do this for 2 to 3 years after moving in a new construction home. And that is look on the inside and outside of your entire property for cracks. So it's pretty typical in Florida. We have what we call settlement cracks. We have sandy ground, right? So we were building a house on a sandy ground. So it's going to settle. You're going to have shifting. It's really common to have a couple tiles pop or crack. But you want to look at those and make sure there's no major settling issues. If there's settling issues before that year is up, you definitely want to reach out to your builder. So you want to make sure you start checking this before the end of the year, but it normally takes about a year for them to start happening. And if you see cracks in your driveway, don't freak out. It's totally okay. It settles. The house settles. The concrete settles. What you're really looking for is if it's over a 1/2 inch in separation, then maybe you need to start having someone look at it. Or if there is any raising or lowering of a section. So if you have over a 1/2 inch of separation in a crack, or you have a place that is rising up to create a trip hazard or dropping down to create a trip hazard, those are very, very important issues that there may be more foundation issues going on there. And so you want to investigate that. You want to find out what's going on and figure out if it's something you need to do something about. So each week we're going to give you a home hack. We're going to talk about some sort of app, gadget, some cool new thing that I'm checking out, or just a tip to help make your homeownership experience even more valuable. So this week, it's more of a tip, right? So you just built this new house. So my home hack is, if you ever want to expand your flooring and remove the carpet in other rooms, go ahead and buy that flooring. And I know it sounds crazy, but So a lot of times the builders may put carpet in the bedrooms, and living in Florida, not a lot of us want a lot of carpet around the house. So if you know for sure you're going to want to take the carpet out of the bedrooms, I strongly recommend you go ahead, reach out to the person that did the flooring in the house and buy some of that flooring. Because what's going to happen a couple years from now is it may not be available and you're trying to match colors and now you can't. And then you end up with multiple floorings, and we'll talk about that in another episode of why not to do that. But go ahead, home hack tip on new construction, go ahead and reach out and find that flooring if you want to expand it to the other parts of the house. So if you enjoyed what you heard today, we hope you tune in again. Just make sure you hit that subscribe button so you never miss a podcast episode that we do. And if you have a question that you want us to cover on the show, go ahead and send me a DM, Facebook, Instagram. Send me that question. We'll probably answer it on a future episode. But just remember, it's just my opinion.